So I just spent a month living in Tokyo and training judo at the Kodokan. I thought that I should make this video to share my experience and to share some information on how you can actually train at the Kodokan if you're a beginner in judo like me. So I've actually done some BJJ in the past, I've done some MMA training, but never judo. But I really always admired judo, and I was in Japan for a completely unrelated reason, and I really hoped that I would be able to do some training at the Kodokan. Now, if you're watching this video, I guess you know that the Kodokan generally welcomes black belts to join the general training sessions. And those training sessions are mostly just randori. They're just sparring. There are no actual instructions. So if you actually want to learn judo, if you want to be taught judo techniques, then what you're actually looking for is the so-called Kodokan Judo School. In other words, they're beginner classes, which is actually a program that runs for a year at minimum, usually. But I was able to join that for 1 month after a bit of an interview, a talk with the head instructor. They can let you join for a shorter period of time. So yeah, the first thing you need to know is that the Kodokan has 2 types of sessions or classes that are run pretty much daily, or like 6 days per week. There's the general training, which is purely randori or sparring. It happens at the main dojo on the 7th floor. This main dojo, you would have seen it in videos. It's iconic, it's a very famous place, and that's where the daily training occurs. And people just arrive at any time and just do sparring with whoever they want. It's an open mat, in other words. But it's mostly black belts, right? It's mostly very competitive black belts, entire teams visiting from other countries, and it's no place for a white belt or for someone who's just done BJJ or something. You can easily get injured or injure someone else. You can also watch the open mat training, by the way, from the 8th floor. You just take the elevator straight up. Like anyone can walk into the Kodokan and just watch. It's really cool. But for me, I wanted an actual judo class with instructions, with teaching. They have this program called the Judo School, and this is usually a year-long program, at least 1 year, and it's designed to get you your black belt in judo. Hopefully in just a year, but realistically that doesn't happen. I think maybe you could get it in a year if you train 6 days a week, never get injured, never get sick, but most people, I think, do it in like 1.5 years or 2 years maybe. It's still fast, that's still very fast compared to the West, and that's just because of the different attitudes that Japanese and the West have towards the black belt. So the black belt isn't like a big deal in Japan. It basically means that you passed the tutorial, that you've learned the syllabus. It doesn't actually mean that you're good at judo. Yeah, whereas in the West, the black belt means now you can teach, now you can become a sensei. Yeah, so different attitudes to the black belt. That's why you can get the black belt faster at the Kodokan, in 1 or 2 years. Anyway, so that's the point of the program. The other thing about this program is don't assume that it's for tourists or something. It's not. It's actually mostly local Japanese people. Maybe like 20% of the class were foreigners, and they weren't tourists either. They were people who were either studying at university in Japan, or they came to specifically to do the Kodokan Judo program. And many of them also speak Japanese to some extent. And you'll need Japanese because the classes are taught 100% in Japanese. Most of the senseis do not speak English at all, okay? I don't speak Japanese. My Japanese is very basic. I would say maybe I'm getting close to N5 level. But you can get by in this class if you know some basics. I definitely recommend looking up terms like Maya, Ushiro, like forward and back, Hidari, left, Migi, right, your body parts, Atama, Te, Ashi, like those you will know from if you've done any amount of judo. And then just various terms like please, like go ahead, your turn. You would say something like dozo if you want to warn your partner that you're about to throw them, because you might do like something like we do 5 reps of uchikomi, and then on the 5th one you throw. So you would say nagemasu. Nage means throw. I'm throwing this time. Various phrases like that, and you can get by. The other thing is that you will have a different sensei every day. I think they rotate through, and you'll only see the same sensei once a week when it's their day, their turn to teach the beginner's class. So classes are run 6 days per week, and they're always from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And there is a requirement a minimum training requirement of at least 3 days per week. And that's if you want to advance to the next cohort. So I should go into that. I'll share with you this little diagram that they give you. So yeah, as I said, it takes a year or more to complete the beginner's class. An interview with Makishi sensei, the head instructor, is required. I'll talk about that. Yeah, I did do a little interview with him. First of all, I emailed the Kodokan, right? I emailed the international department. They have a specific email. I emailed them and asked, would it be possible for me to train there for a month? They said it might be possible, but you have to interview with Makishi sensei. So they said, come in, watch a class, and talk to him. I came in, I told the reception that I was there to watch a class. This was all through Google Translate because the reception do not speak English. Watch the entire class, and then sensei will speak to you at the end. And there wasn't much to discuss. When we spoke, he basically asked me, why do I want to do judo? And I simply explained my situation, that I've done other martial arts in the past, that I've always admired judo, that I'm in Japan for a month. And I guess what also might have helped is that I explained that I'll be returning to Japan quite frequently. I'm actually still in Japan now, by the way. I'm in Fukuoka now. But yeah, I'm lucky enough with my work that I'm able to come back to Japan for 2 or 3 months pretty much each year. So I'll be returning to the Kodokan and trying to do this year-long program in several chunks. So I explained that, and then he said, okay, you can join. You know, it was no problem. And then he explained this to me, the structure of the class or the structure of the program. So what we're looking at now is the diagram they gave me. First of all, you have to join in the first 10 days of the month. So I was there in late August and they didn't let me join straight away. I had to wait a week until it was the 1st of September and then I could join. In that first month, you have to do at least 13 classes. That averages out to at least 3 to 4 days per week. That's the minimum. Otherwise, you won't advance to the next month and you'll have to repeat the first month. So yeah, they break you up into 3 groups. There's the first month students, the second and third month students, and then the 3 months plus students. In the first month, you do 13 classes and then you advance onto the second and third month group. Then you have to do at least 40 training days in those first 3 months to advance to those 3-month and onwards group, which is called Tokushoka. These terms, by the way, Futsuka simply means fundamentals, and Tokushoka means specialized training. Specialized just meaning you're learning more techniques. So what I did was the first month of Futsuka, the first month of foundational training. There was no randori. There's not going to be sparring. You're going to start from the absolute basics of judo, break falls, ukemi. Actually, the first day, all we learned was the basic etiquette, how to bow properly with correct form, how to do the kneeling bow properly. There's certain tips to having an aesthetic bow. So that was like the first couple of sessions, and then most of it was ukemi. And I'm just editing now, but I forgot to say that you do the warm-up together with the more advanced students, and the warm-ups are quite long. They're like 30 minutes, and I think that the warm-up is perhaps the most beneficial part of the first month of training. That's what actually gets your body into judo shape, because you're doing a lot of unfamiliar movements, a lot of acrobatic movements, and judo-specific movements, including flexibility and strength. So I think the warm-ups were very valuable. And then we learned 4 or 5 throws in that first month. Some of those were hizaguruma, ogoshi, kouchigari, tsurikomi-goshi, and morote seonagi. So if you're hoping for a lot of action, it might be a bit disappointing for you. Whereas if you actually want to learn judo in an extremely detailed manner, then you'll actually enjoy it. And yeah, finally, in terms of payment, you need to join the Kodokan. This is a lifetime membership. They give you a little card, by the way, which I really like. This is the Kodokan membership card. Right. That costs, what, 8,000 yen? You pay the monthly fee as well, which is 7,000 yen a month. That's only $50 a month. So training at the Kodokan regularly is pretty cheap, I would say. $50 a month, that's so much cheaper than BJJ, for example. which can be like $200 a month, right? They give you an application form. You have to do a little photo at one of those photo booths that you can find at pretty much every subway station. That part is pretty easy. Yeah, just get your Japanese to as much of a high level as possible. Overall, it was a really great experience. I am so glad that I did it, and I'll definitely be back to continue my training at the Kodokan, but I'll also be starting judo in Australia. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions. So good luck. Maybe subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more videos like this. Leave a like as well. See you in the next one.